Alright guys, today I'm going to be showcasing the best skins for under $1 right now in Counter-Strike 2. Now, it is going to be fully timestamped down below, and I will say it now, I am focusing purely on the most meta weapons I think you should be prioritizing to pick up for your loadouts. If you guys want to see a part 2 where I dive into some of the more niche, obscure options, let me know in the comments down below, hit that like button, and I'll be sure to do it. I'm going to start off with the Glocks, and I'm going to kick it off with an Iconics or budget gem pick. It's going to be the Moonrise minimal wear. This will run you about 86 cents. Now, just for context, all the pricing for this is from the 5th of January 2025, so if you're watching it in 6 months' time, obviously there may be some changes, but this is a super sick, sleek skin, and you can get the rare star pattern for not too much overpay. My second one for the Glock is going to be the Umbro Rabbit. I think for 70 cents in minimal wear, this is quite a unique skin that actually still looks pretty good. I've always enjoyed this, and I think it just floated it under the radar. And then finally, I'm going to go for the Bunsen Burner. Now, there's actually a ton of really nice Glock picks under the $1 mark, but I decided to limit myself to 3 picks per weapon, just so it was a bit easier for you guys and I wasn't throwing a crazy amount of options. So overall, Moonrise, Umbro, and then this Bunsen Burner is the cheapest at 43 cents. Some really nice options for the Glock. For the USP, I'm going to go for the Ticket to Hell first. I think this is a really nice skin. It's 70 cents in minimal wear. I think some people dislike it because for the longest time, this and the flashback were like the go-to suggested USPs, but it's held up really well. 70 cents, an absolute banging skin. And funny enough, I just mentioned it, my other USP pick is going to be the flashback, which is 75 cents in minimal wear. So really close pricing wise. Both offer you something a little bit different. I quite like the markings the flashback gets with like the shush on the suppressor, the smiley face, and that kind of thing. Now, my third USP option is actually going to be a P2000, and it's going to be the Acid Etched, which is 65 cents in minimal wear. I'm aware there are some P2000 enjoyers out there. I actually used one myself for probably close to 2 months, and will recently swap back to the USP. So I wanted to make sure we included something here, and I think this is flat out the best value for money P2K in the game. Then as we move on to the Desert Eagle, it's another weapon that actually has quite a lot of nice budget picks. So my first one is going to be the light reel here. I wouldn't field test it, which is 60 cents. What I like about this is it's really nice and neutral, little accent color on the end, and the actual gun model itself with the mapping looks really nice. If you want it a little bit more color, but still want it to be a bit more subdued, 33 cents for a field tested directive might be for you. Obviously, we have a bit of blue and black, kind of robotic vibes to it with those little red dots as well. I think for the price you're paying, this is a pretty solid pickup. And I know they're all like darker colors, but my third one is going to be the Color Graffiti, which is one of the newer skins added to the game. Obviously, you get the new Deagle model, which looks really cool, and it's only 35 cents in minimal wear. I'm personally considering getting one in Stat Track for my Nox, because as you can see, it looks pretty damn good as a combo. Now, let's cover the AKs, where recently we've had some nice additions, and I want to feature that one first. Olive Polycam for factory new is 72 cents. And I know, because I watched Anomaly's recent video, building a $5 loadout, he also recommends this skin. So it's not just me being delusional and waffling. I actually think this AK looks incredibly good for the price you're paying. And like, this should be one of the go-to picks for basically any budget loadout at the minute. And the reason I say that is your 2 other options aren't stellar for the AK. You're talking like an AK Elite build, Battle Scarred for 88 cents. Now, obviously, you could get lower down in the Battle Scarred realm to try and have it looking clean. Or maybe you want to have it Battle Scarred, just have that rugged look. But this is another option. Now, the final AK pick, which I'm sure someone will complain about in the comments, is the Uncharted. Is 95 cents in minimal wear. This obviously has, for most people, alongside the Safari Mesh, been like the first AK they'll buy, the starting AK. And I think for that reason, people kind of look down upon it. But it is actually quite a nice skin for the price you're paying. Now, when we get to the M4s, man, we are cooking. For example, M4A1-S Mud Spec comes in at 26 cents for minimal wear. I really like this skin. If you're on a map that has like some, I'm going to say aggressive lighting, it gets a little bit of shine on it. But this overall is actually such good value for money. Another new addition to the game is the Wash Me Please. This is 31 cents for minimal wear. Pattern-based skin. I think the blue accents on it are actually really nice as well. Lots of craft potential. You know, this one for me actually beats out the Mud Spec these days. And then for the third M4, I'm going to go for that little bit of an obscure pick with the Infosaurus S. Now, this is 93 cents in minimal wear. This is a skin that I have always been a fan of. It has that Jurassic Park vibe for me, which is a movie and franchise that I love. Kind of like dinosaurs. It's kind of cool. I know it's a really bright sort of like plasticky green with brown and yellow. Not really the most desired color combo in CS, but we can't deny that for like a unique skin, it's pretty cool. Like, as I say, the M4s were cooking. Even as we move to the M4A4, some great options. First up, magnesium minimum wear. This is basically $50. This was the first M4A4 I picked up when I got back into CS a couple of years ago. My one was Stat Track, but it looks good with pretty much any loadout you build, and even, like, I've seen people rocking this in, like, $1,000 loadouts, and it still looks good. I do want to put a little bit of respect onto the Urban DD-Pat M4 because minimum wear for 28 cents, yes, it gets scuffed and battered a little bit. I think this is quite a unique option to have. Obviously, the new update means I can't inspect instantly. That's fun. It's a white skin. Normally that comes with premium. Obviously, it's getting scuffs, but it's 28 cents, and you can find this with older stickers on it if you wanted to spend that a little bit more. Just one to keep in mind for like loadout building in the future. Then again, one of the newer skins that has kind of like a cool element when it goes to battle scarred, it is going to be the Edgelord. This one is field tested though at 78 cents. The more you go into battle scarred, the more like bronzy this gets. So if you're building like say you're going like a rust coat combo, bronzy loadout, get this in battle scarred, it will look so nice. Now, the last of the main 7 weapons is the AWP. Now, prepare yourself because the options are tight here. For example, the first one's going to be a capillary. It's 42 cent minimal wear. Overall, this isn't too bad. I think the colors are pretty good across the board for what you're getting, but it's just not everyone's cup of tea. If you're considering a green loadout, then the Pit Viper is going to be for you because this is 43 cent for minimal wear as well. So really close price-wise to the capillary. The one thing here is there's no scope detailing, but if you go on default gloves and it's going to be like black, green, black, that actually can look pretty good. And then the final one, which I was able to find on 3 marketplaces for $1, it's the FAMAS. It's field test at $1, right on the buffer of the budget. Personally, for me, I quite like how this one gets scope detailing, but I think I prefer one of the other ops. Okay, another area where there's lots of great options, MAC-10. I'm going for my favorite one first of all. It is the Allure. I think this artwork is absolutely fantastic. I like the color palette as well. If we could get this kind of artwork and color palette, I want the two together on a rifle, like, it'll be insane. This is only 63 cent minwear. I've also decided to feature one that I normally don't too much, and I think it's because it needs some respect for how cool it actually looks. This is the Pipe Down. It's 76 cent minimal wear, but you can see with how they've done the 3D mapping, this is actually a full flat thing, but they've made it look like it's piped through the gun. It is super cool, super unique, but again, like, for this level of intricate artwork for the price you pay, super solid. And then if you are like wanting to go as cheap as possible for the MAC-10, I think a 15 cent light box in minimum wear does the trick. One of the joys of being one of the newer skins in the game and like a lower rarity skin is that the price is just like right at the bottom now. Really good value for money. Like over on the MP9, if you want a little pop of color, I think your best shout is going to be the Deadly Poison for a pop of color and being clean. Now this is 65 cent minimal wear. Basically this is like the budget alternative to a Hydra if you're on a grid loadout. The one that I always like for a neutral vibe is the Goo. It's a little bit more expensive. It's 82 cent in minimal wear, but I often use this in budget blue and purple loadouts and also just in general budget loadouts because I think the overall value for money and that kind of like neutral color palette works quite well. And then again, if you really don't want to spend much money, I think a 9 cent featherweight is for minimal wear condition as well, so it's still going to look clean, is going to be the best play for you. And you know what, even though it's 9 cent, it's a pretty damn good looking skin. So the P250 is another one where there's a nice range of options. The first one I'm going to have is a Nevermore. The fact this is 80 cent and looks quite good. Hello, matey. I'm just a fan of it. It is pattern based, so that can impact pricing a little bit here and there. But there's so many patterns in general. You'll get a nice one for under $1 pretty easily. Then, if you fancy a bit of blue rather than red, for 20 cent you can get a Valance in minimal wear. And this one is just gradually growing on me. I always liked it as a budget pick, but CS2, I think with the Nox gloves as well, man, it ties together really nicely with that little pop of color on the accents. And then I think like an all-time kind of more iconic budget gem, at least in my opinion, for suggestions of what I've done over the last couple of years, P250 cassette. It is going to get somewhere in the back, but I actually think the artwork style is quite interesting. Then probably the fastest category to cover is the FAMAS. Meow 36 for 7 cent is, in my opinion, the best overall pick, and it's super cheap. If you're down to spend a bit more and you want to play around with a pattern-based skin, you can go for the half-tone wash. It's 40 cent minimal wear. There are quite a lot of nice patterns on this in general. And both the half-tone wash and then this half sleeve are from the Armory Pass and the collections that came with that. This one is 20 cent in minimal wear. It is probably the lesser of the three that I've shown, but the FAMAS really just lacks clean and nice options across the board. We can kick off the Gale options with one of the other new skins that got added in. It's also quite cheap. I've gone Factory New for it for the Envy. The reason I've gone for that is some of the green axes on the outside when you go minimal wear will start to get scuffed a little bit, and I think the fact that you're getting Factory New for 60 cent is pretty solid as it is. Another one that's good for those like kind of like core neutral vibes is the tuxedo. This is also minimal wear. It's 70%. You can see even in minimal wear, it's not actually getting a crazy amount of scuff, so it's going to look pretty damn clean. Then if you're after a bit of color pop, the signal is probably going to be a good shout for you. This is also a pattern-based skin. It doesn't vary up too much. I would say just have a look before you buy it to make sure that it's a pattern that you like if you're after certain colors in certain spots. Now, flame test value for money is off the charts. This is 21 cents for factory new. Obviously, it's kind of like this default black base, but then the purple really, really pops. It's almost kind of got like a little glittery effect on it. And then obviously you got the flame and the white. It really stands out. And if you're not aware, you're kind of blessed for purple 5.7 choices on a budget, because you can also get a Violent Daimyo for 66 cents in factory new. Now, depending on the exact loadout theme you're going for, sometimes this can be better than the flame test, but overall, I think most people would lean into the flame test. And then to make it 3 of 3 purple 5.7s, I'm actually going for a Withered Divine. This is the first souvenir skin. I'm showing it without the souvenir sticker so you can see the full artwork. A souvenir one in factory new will cost you 19 cents. So some nice gold stickers on this, and it's going to be looking good. The Joe Berettas are filled with like nice budget picks. We'll get even more of those when we go to the $5 video. But for under $1, Royal Consorts are 90 cents. You're getting that nice gold, a little bit of greeny emerald jade vibes in it. What's not to love? For the fun pick, I always like the Flora Carnivora, like 75 cents for these in minimal wear. I've even been looking at them battle scarred myself recently if you want to save even more money. They just always sort of tick that box nicely. And then if you want a third pick, you want something a little bit more subdued, but still like really nice artwork and stylish, I think 35 cents for Julian Dragons is a pretty solid option. And then we have 2 weapon categories left. Now, these days, I would definitely count the Tec-9 as like a key weapon that you should be focusing on. You can do a crazy amount of damage on T-side with these on low buy and ecos. 80 cents for a Bamboozle in minimum wear is flatly one of my favorite Tec-9 skins in the game. Then the second and final souvenir skin I think you should consider is going to be the Blast from the Past. Now, for me, this one actually looks better with the gold stickers for how they stand out. But again, I wanted to showcase the pattern for it. It's a little bit different on the color palette. It is from the Ancient Collection. And then finally, I think the Jambia is going to be the final pick here. This one is just over $50 as well. I think the actual barrel having like this metal gold design the whole way along is super cool. And then the theme wise, it's a bit different and I quite like it. And then finally we have the Scouts. So my first choice normally here is always an acid fade. The fact this starts from 85 cents kind of runs to $1. It's pattern based, so you can get max green. You can go for a higher percentage of black if you want. Like someone suggested I should go from, I think I've got like a 95% fade, which is a lot of green. They're like, you should go for low percentage so it gets lots of black for the knocks. One of the newer skins in the game that sort of ticks all the boxes here. Disaster, 14 cent minimum wear, a little bit of scope design, nice and subtle, nice like kind of neutrally blue silver color palette with red accents. Complexity and heroic stickers are a no-brainer on this. And then finally, the last skin for today's video is going to be the Abyss. Now, I'm recommending it, but in minimal wear, which is 45 cents. It is also pattern based, so like you can see where there's like more bright blue, more dark blue, that can vary. Also, if you get it in battle scarred, it will be a quarter of the price, and you can see how much the blue changes into almost this more cyan with almost elements of white as well. And I know some people massively prefer that. So for like, this is 9 to 10 cents. If that's what you want over like a more sort of common blue, work away. But that is going to be today's video. That is the best skins under $1 in Counter-Strike 2 right now as of like the beginning of January 2025. As I said at the start, I focused primarily on the main weapons that I think you should be picking up skins for first. Like, that should be your priority. And if you guys really want to see a part 2 of this, where I go through and I look at, I don't know, like P90s, Bisons, like SGs and AUGs, stuff like that, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will be sure to do so. So I'm going to end it there. I want to say a big thank you to the YouTube members that continue to support the channel. It is greatly appreciated, and we have more YouTube member dedicated loadout videos coming soon. But outside of that, I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.